The term network society was first coined in 1981 by Norwegian sociologist and social psychologist Stein Braten to describe a society powered by networked information and communications technology. Since then, the Spanish sociologist Manuell Castells has written extensively about the network society, which he argues emerged as human societies moved from the industrial age into the information age. In this transition, capitalism is no longer centred on the production of material goods, but on information and knowledge. The term the network society refers to the social structure of this new age. Castells termed its economic manifestation the global informational economy and its cultural expression the culture of real virtuality. According to Castells, networks now form the new architecture of society and are the dominant mode of organising social relations. A network for Castells is a decentralised system of nodes through which communication can occur. Each and every node is necessary for the system to function, though nodes are not all of equal importance. Networks have an open structure and are able to expand and contract as necessary. The communication that occurs across these networks via nodes is multidimensional and multidirectional, and not restricted by either time or space. Castells claims that while social networks themselves are not new and have existed as models of social organisation for a very long time, their current form is directly related to the information age. The difference in a network society is that the process of managing information within social networks is achieved using microelectronic-based communication technologies, such as the internet or mobile telephones. As a result, societies do not have to be attached to a specific geographical space, such as a nation or a state, but simply to the space of communication and information flows. These technologies and flows decentralize communication and increase the efficiency of networks compared to the hierarchical bureaucratic structures that preceded them. Castells argues that these new social networks are highly efficient because they're very good at managing complexity. They're highly dynamic and innovative and able to adapt rapidly to changing social conditions. The rise of the network society has also led to transformations in social dynamics and interpersonal relationships, as well as how individuals relate to institutions and organisations. Access to networks is no longer dominated by one powerful social group. While economically disadvantaged groups may find it more difficult to use the new networks, particularly amongst the poor in the global south, networks are increasingly available to more and more people around the world. Castells referred in 1997 to the Zapatistas, a political group of indigenous peoples in Mexico, as an example of how marginalized and disenfranchised groups can use the network society and disrupt traditional power structures. The Zapatistas used the internet to coordinate events, block government websites and servers, and even stage virtual protests and sit-ins in their campaign to gain autonomy and self-determination from the Mexican government. More recently, we can look to other examples of internet activism as democracy in action, such as WikiLeaks. Castells also argues that as a result of these structural changes to society, place and time are gradually becoming less relevant to social life. This is because the network society is organised around new forms of time and space, timeless time and the space of flows. While spatially bound networks determined by proximity and shared ways of being are still meaningful, they exist side by side with new identities and ways of life that are formed and maintained in the space of flows. Just as space is differently conceptualized and used in the information age, time also operates differently within a network society. Castells calls it timeless time. Timeless time refers to the disordering of social action and interaction as the perception and use of time becomes more complicated and compressed, and sequences of life become scrambled and even randomized. Timeless time makes it possible to be in several places at the same time and to participate in more than one activity in one place, such as browsing on the internet at the same time as listening to a podcast and updating one's Facebook page. Timeless time refers to not the disappearance of linear time, but the decline of its significance. It's less important to think about the consecutive order in which the concurrent activities that make up our network society occur, and more about how they're grouped together. For example, individuals can speak to each other from different countries at any time in real time, and even to multiple users at once through applications like Skype. While each person in that interaction is situated and bound by a particular spatial and temporal realm, the interaction itself transcends those realms. Castells is largely positive about the global network society and optimistic about its future. The network society provides people with the opportunity to communicate and interact with people from different places instantaneously, allowing for the creation of social networks that draw from a myriad of cultural and ideological worldviews. In Castells' mind, this ultimately leads to a more connected, productive, accepting and open-minded global society. However, not everyone agrees with Castells' vision of the network society. Sociologist Zygmunt Bauman believes that Castells is too idealistic and utopian in his assessment of the current situation of the world, with all of its social, political and economic ailments. Frank Webster argues that Castells places too much emphasis on the influence of technology on social relations, and not enough on how humans correspondingly shape and reshape communications and networks. Many also refute his claim that the present economic and social situation is unprecedented. Nicholas Garnham contends that what Castells calls network society is simply an extension of industrial capitalism, and suggests it is dangerous to focus so heavily on the novelty of the changes in post-industrial society, while overlooking important continuities between it and past socio-economic formations. Despite these criticisms, it's clear that Castells' overarching theory of the increasing interconnectedness of human society and our reliance on information and communications technologies is an important contribution to our understanding of globalization. Castells' theory of network society has been hugely influential in the sociological understanding of the relationship between new technologies and society. In summary, network society is a term used by Manuell Castells to refer to the social structures of the information age, which is dominated by decentralized networks rather than bureaucratic and hierarchical institutions. Second, Castells acknowledges that while social networks themselves are not new, the difference in a network society is that social networks are driven by microelectronic communication technologies such as the internet and mobile telephones. Third, network society is organised around new forms of time and space that are not geographically bounded. He calls them timeless time and the space of flows. Fourth, Castells is largely optimistic about the network society, believing that it leads ultimately to a more connected, productive, accepting and open-minded global society. Fifth, critics of Castells' theory contend that it's utopian and idealistic, technologically deterministic and ahistorical, but it remains influential in the sociological understanding of the relationship between new technologies and society.